We'll figure it out.
Today that I have reasonable grounds to believe, on the basis of evidence collected and examined by my office, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes committed on the territory of the State of Palestine from at least the 8th of October 2023. The crimes include starvation of civilians as a method of warfare, willfully causing great suffering, serious injury to body or health or cruel treatment, willful killing or murder, and intentionally directing attacks against a civilian population, as well as crimes against humanity of extermination and or murder, persecution, and allegations of crimes of committing other inhumane acts. My office submits that these individuals, through a common plan, have systematically deprived the civilian population of Gaza of objects indispensable to human survival.
Welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known, and that is some real serious stuff there, and it's gotten Washington in chaos. The president is upset by this and is condemning the ICC. The Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike, is also gathering his troops, saying that they want to pass sanctions against the ICC. After they announced, as you heard there, they're seeking the arrest of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar on charges of war crimes and other crimes against humanity stemming from the October 7th attack on Israel. Really interesting stuff. We're going to talk about that today. And the chair of the Tel Aviv University's Executive Council had some very controversial things to say. He said he thought it was a pity, quote, that Netanyahu was not on board the helicopter crash that crashed on Sunday, killing Iran's president and foreign minister. Real interesting stuff there. And he's doubling down on it too, despite criticism. And Ed Dwight, on a lighter side, some more better news to talk about. The pioneer and African-American who came close to becoming America's first Black astronaut 6 decades ago achieved his long-awaited journey into space at the age of 90. And a story we meant to bring you on Monday. Missouri cop under investigation launched because this cop from St. Louis was seen lighting up a cigar while he was arresting a suspect. We got to talk about that, Austin. Really interesting stuff. Of course, as I said, Austin, there's the one and only Austin Cooper with us.
Good morning, Stacy. How are you, brother?
Appreciate you. I am doing well because you're on the other side of the glass.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to start my days with your profound wisdom and take on the political events of the day.
Let me tell you something. When it comes to a wisdom fight, I'm often unarmed. I want you to know right now.
Welcome to my club.
To admit it.
Me too.
But first, Austin, I want to jump, Austin, to what all these rap artists, others who hung out with and was always buddy with Kid Rock. What do they think about him now? After years of speaking mostly to right-wing outlets, Kid Rock gave an interview with a reporter from Rolling Stone magazine And it was unhinged. He liberally, repeatedly used the N-word, and at one point he waved a gun in the face of the reporter. He goes on to talk about his love of Trump and why he loves Trump and his love of the Confederacy and the Confederate flag, and how even when he was performing at Run DMC, he said those were 3 black guys and they didn't say anything. He refers to his white butler as Uncle Tom. Um, I mean, he has the original General Lee car from the Dukes of Hazzard, which of course famously has a Confederate flag emblazoned on his roof. Um, I mean, these guys, Austin, what they're letting you know, it's no question who they are.
Yeah, and some people, and good morning again, good to see you and the viewers. Uh, Stacey, I look at some of these so-called celebrities, and I use the term very loosely, and I wonder how and why, they have achieved celebrity status. I mean, what talent does Kid Rock have other than being a ignorant white racist? But to your point, I don't know that Kid Rock 5 years ago or during the 2016 campaign would have been as outspoken and
Right.
bold as he is today.
There you go.
May 21st. But you know, uh, because of the POS to our left, to his right, this has become the norm. They have become emboldened, and they are more and more bold with it. You know, um, for him to be comfortable using the N word as he did is beyond offensive. But he knows that he's saying what Donald Trump wants to say, and I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump refers to blacks by the N word when he's not in the public eye. And I'm just waiting for him to slip up and use the N word when
He's
he's
used so many other
frustrated.
euphemisms, so
Exactly,
you know,
exactly. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
it's
so,
like,
so,
come
so I'm
on.
not surprised, by this. Again, what is his talent? What
Yeah.
value does he bring for the space that he occupies? The Confederate, a supporter of the Confederate flag. I mean, just say POS racist idiot.
And even before like Power 96 or Mike V would comment, I already know what they were thinking. So what they would be thinking.
Yeah, yeah, no, but again, he has been given by Donald Trump, as so many others who don't have the platform of the
Mhm.
of a Kid Rock to say what's really on his mind, with
Yep.
no fear of censorship, with no
None.
fear of any type of fine by the FCC
No blowback.
or anything or
Right.
anything. He just he's being his true self.
Yeah. Uh, it's just sickening. Here's a, I fly when I fly Austin Cooper,
On Air
it's
Force One, or when you or, or,
it's
or when you
usually
fly commercial.
when I fly commercial, it's
Okay.
usually American or Delta.
Hmm.
I don't do the whole ghetto airlines thing, Spirit, Frontier. And here's another reason why. Here's another reason why. So, passenger on Frontier Airline, if you sit in the exit row seat, so they come over. If you've ever sat in the exit row seat, which I've done in the past,
Yep. Yep. Me too.
they simply go through the motions, which is say, would you be willing to assist other passengers in case of emergency? My thing on that is this. Um, if the plane goes down, there's no more emergency. You're all dead, right?
Hmm.
Um, it's she chooses this young lady here chooses to sit there. You got the best leg room and everything. So I can imagine Frontier. That's probably the best seat in the house. They probably squished in there, except for those in the exit row
Those
seat.
seats.
And I
Yep.
saw
Yep.
a video in which it shows, yeah, she got a lot of leg room. Now, when the flight attendant, as per usual, says, would you be willing to help or whatever? This young lady says, oh no, I'm not going to save anybody. If something happens, I'm going to save myself. Now, so she was asked, okay, well, you're going to have to move. Oh, I'm not moving. And here's what some people do that kills me. They pick up their phone, they get on the phone as the lady, the flight attendant and the other crew members are saying, listen, you're going to have to move. Pick up, she's on her phone. Who are you calling? Ben Crump? Even Ben Crump can't help you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's federal law. So just move. First of all, why even open your mouth? Just nod.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
nod.
Chance that it's going to be a safe flight, but
Yes.
it just go to show,
Ignorance.
their ignorance,
Well,
pure
and it
ignorance.
got worse because naturally she decided that somehow she decided she was in the right. She wasn't moving until the police came on there. So they had the plane inconvenience a couple hundred people because of her stupidity. She also, and I wish we may have the whole video. I'm not sure. She was also let off in handcuffs going down the walk of shame down
And
those.
no, what did both ladies or just one?
Just her.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the other one was like, okay, you're being a little ridiculous, or whoever you might be, whether it's her sister, cousin, whatever. But give me a break.
No,
so you got arrested.
for nothing.
Her ignorant behind is probably thinking she got some sort of lawsuit. No, you got some time.
You have an arrest record.
Right.
However long she was been in there.
And
again,
banned from flying.
Mm-hmm. And again, some folks, whether they, fly in certain other circumstances, are so absolutely inconsiderate.
Totally.
Not, thank God here in the United States, and mostly around, also around the world, 99.9% of, commercial flights are safe flights, domestic and international. That says a lot about the safety of global air travel. However, there are those instances in which there's an emergency. You may even make make a safe landing. One of the gears, one of the wheels did not lock in as it should, and people need to get off the airplane. You've landed, but you still need to get out of the airplane. Suppose there is that there could be a fire with one of the engines. They need to be prepared to help the flight attendants evacuate people. We're not saying you need to be the last one off the plane like it's some ship, but you need to be prepared to follow the instructions of the flight attendants or to be of assist to them, because that's why you were given those specific seats. When before you board the plane, they ask you, "Are you prepared
before you
to
board that
assist in the event of emergency?" When you're seated, when they're going through the instructions, you have to nod your head, acknowledge them, not be on the phone, not have your earpieces in, but acknowledge that, yes, I am prepared. To your point, even if you're lying, just nod and say yes.
Just go with the flow.
This simpleton here that should have opened the door and just pushed her out
and pushed
out the plane rolling.
And this happened, by the way, at Charlotte Douglas International Airport in North Carolina.
And Charlotte, yeah.
But it's it's just insane that someone would do that. It's like what social media is a bad. It's worse than crack.
Yeah,
it's a bad because what are you doing for clicks or something? You trying to impress these people that you are standing up to this flight attendant telling her no? I mean, it's abs, and then you get to this point. Now, how you feel?
Have to be forcibly removed,
right? In cuffs.
Yeah, and if she was, if she had refused to be moved and had been tased, and I say rightfully tased if necessary, then that would have been another issue. Sometimes.
Well, and that's the other thing
people.
too. Why cause, as we get as Greer gets to the point where the part where she is in the walk of shame, coming down the steps in handcuffs with her head down.
Yeah.
Don't hold your head down now.
Yeah. Hold your head. I mean, you were displaying ignorant pride on the aircraft. Keep that pride going. Now that you're handcuffed.
Right. And nobody, when she got home, there's not one person in her house should have given her any words of support. They should have all just told her how dumb that really was. What was you doing? And that's the thing too. Austin's like you kind of alluded to that. I was gonna go into look, there she is. It's just, it kills me. But I was gonna go into why create a situation, particularly a Black person, where police are gotta be called.
Looking for attention. You know,
But you create that situation how many times, and we talk about it all the time in this program, as you well know, an interaction between police and Black folks often don't
often does
end
not
with
end
the
well.
Black person still breathing. So come on. Now you bringing this. It's ridiculous. And now these people, about 200 other folks, got to suffer.
Inconvenience. You know, I don't know where the plane was going, but some of those folks might not have been their final destination when they landed wherever. Might have been trying to make connections. Excuse me. So everybody's inconvenient for her, her need for attention.
And one other quick note: the person that she decided to get all loud with and say that I'm not doing this, it was a young Black flight attendant, female.
Yeah.
That it just kills me.
And can you imagine what was going through her mind? You know, got all these white folk on this aircraft. Why are you showing?
I don't know how many white folks on Frontier.
Like this?
I don't know. This is like Snoop Dogg's ghetto plane. Let me tell you right now.
So you've never flown Frontier?
Listen, that is not happening. Come on, stop cursing on this show.
I mean, I've done it once, maybe twice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I've done it once, maybe twice. But like you, I do American or Delta.
Right. I mean, not that American is so great or whatever.
Or United. Yeah.
Or United, right. But you generally don't have, some ghetto queen or king trying to ruin your flight.
Yeah, no, if the only way I can get to heaven is on Spirit, well, I guess I'll be on Earth for a while longer. I guess I'll be down here by myself. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing Spirit.
I'm not doing Spirit, but nothing. Spirit can give me lifetime free tickets. I would never. You can't think I wouldn't even send my luggage on Spirit.
Yeah. And first of all, I like how my planes look. Spirit.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's my my fraternity colors are gold and black. That's yellow and black. I mean, that just looks stupid.
I'm pretty sure Greer's probably gonna cuss both of us out right now, but that's okay. You got to tell us both we're bougie or something, but that's okay.
Yeah. No. I want the plane to look nice on the inside and nice on the outside. That's what I want.
There you go. And I want somebody who's gonna serve me some scotch, right? And not just little peanuts. I need something to help wash down the scotch.
So you're a first class kind of guy.
Listen, I need something. Austin, this is ridiculous. I need to have something. Don't you agree?
I hear you.
I mean, you too. I mean, always in Africa or
somewhere. A man of your honor and distinction. Absolutely, treat you respectfully and accordingly.
Oh gosh. So the International Criminal Court announced on Monday it is seeking to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity that stem from that October 7th terrorist attack on Israel by Hamas and the subsequent invasion of Gaza by Israel. The ICC chief prosecutor Karim Khan said in a statement that he was also filing applications for the warrants of arrest for other senior Israeli and Palestinian figures who have played key roles in the ongoing war in Gaza. Huge development, Austin. I mean, it may not go anywhere, but it certainly struck a chord in Washington because President Biden lashed out at the prosecutor, and so did MAGA Mike and the Republicans as well. In fact, MAGA Mike said they want to do something. They want to get together and pass some sort of sanctions against the ICC. Your thoughts, Austin? I mean, to announce this and to go. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Now they've gone through with it.
Yeah, I don't expect this to go anywhere, but I find it to me it would have been different. I mean, how do you not how do you charge one side and not the other on this? And that is what that is. I mean, again, I don't expect it to go anywhere. When I look at let's refer to October 7th, from which this originates, and ignore the previous history of war in that region. I felt for the Israeli mothers who lost children, families whose loved ones were taken and are still being held. Some have been killed. And Stacy and viewers, I also felt and feel equally for the Palestinian mothers and fathers who have lost children and loved ones in this war. I think it's 1,400 innocent Israelis were, raped and killed by a terrorist group, Hamas, on October 7th within a couple of hours. But that does not justify 35 or 36,000 Palestinians being slaughtered in the region since then.
Yeah. And they're saying that they've committed war crimes, and so it seems like if in fact anyone commits war crimes, it's one of those things that the international court has never really held anybody truly accountable. It seems nations have, but the international court doesn't seem to have that track record. I don't know if it's for a lack of trying or simply because it's just realized just how toothless it is as a tiger. But this is, I think it's something that shouldn't just be scoffed at. That you have a prosecutor in an international court that wants to bring war crimes charges against individuals. First, allow this prosecutor. I believe you got to allow the prosecutor to show what he has.
Show the evidence. And there is evidence of cruelty on both sides
Without question.
in this conflict. So I don't expect this to go anywhere. The one downside to these announcements is, and it works to Benjamin Netanyahu's advantage, that it takes attention over his abysmal failure to protect the people of Israel on October 7th. I, for the life of me, still, 6-7 months later, cannot understand how Israeli Defense Forces, the government, was so unprepared as they were to be attacked by land, by sea, by air, simultaneously. It was a colossal simultaneous collapse of the entire Israeli intelligence. And my first reaction on that Saturday was, this must have been an inside job. I mean, there is a mole on the in the Israeli government, Israeli defense forces that was feeding intelligence information to Hamas for this to happen. And Stacey, and viewers, I cannot prove it, but it would not surprise me if a source of all of this is the man who wants to be president again, Donald Trump. Selling military secrets to whomever, selling. Look, if he's willing to sell U.S. military secrets, then you think he won't sell Israeli military secrets or British military secrets or Indian military secrets or secrets of any other ally of the United States? So I wouldn't be surprised if he sold military secrets to Russia, and the Russians sold it to Iran. Iran sold it to Hamas, and again, I can't prove it, but I would not be surprised if a thorough, independent investigation of that collapse did not go back to Donald Trump in the selling of domestic and ally military secrets.
I'm laughing at something else. We move just laughing at something else, something that was written privately, as you can see, Austin.
Oh.
The chair of Tel Aviv University's executive council also said he thought it was a pity that Prime Minister Netanyahu was not on board the helicopter crash that killed Iran's president Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdul Halanian. Oh, God, forgive me for mispronouncing it. He says, a pity Netanyahu was not on the helicopter too. One accident can solve many problems for us and the world. That was Eli Gelman. He wrote in a private WhatsApp group with a link to an article about the accident. In response to a comment in the group calling for him to delete the post, Gelman doubled down on his comment. He says, considering the amount of damage Netanyahu has been doing to the state of Israel in a process that began 27 years ago, the slip of the tongue and the cast the left as separate from the Jews, and that is accelerating at an exceptional rate. To pray for an accident that will erase this scoundrel from our lives is not excessive at all. And that slip of the tongue comment was a reference to a 1997 hot mic comment by Netanyahu, who was recorded whispering to a rabbi that, quote, the left has forgotten what it is to be a Jew. So this is some pure cold words here. I mean, hard words from Mr. Gelman here about wishing Netanyahu was on that plane.
This is a hotly, for years it's been a hotly debated topic, but as a general rule, I do not, wish death upon anybody, even, the worst of the worst, because I firmly believe in, firmly believe in karma. So, I would prefer Netanyahu to be voted out. I would prefer him to be lose at the polls if he wants. I never forget having a conversation with my dad on the evening of March 30th, 1981, when Ronald Reagan, the assassination attempt against Ronald Reagan.
Oh, yes.
And my dad, Stacy, had a church, as I may have mentioned before, in Dallas when President Kennedy was killed. And Dad, this is like 3 months into, 2.5 months, 3 months into the Reagan administration. And Dad was no fan of Ronald Reagan. Every time he came on, it would just be fussing. But that evening I called him and I asked him, was he glad that someone had tried to kill the president? And he said, no, he was not glad because of the assassination attempt. He thought it was wrong. This is a democracy. And while I'm not a fan of Ronald Reagan, and he certainly did not get my vote, and I think he's, the only thing he has in mind during his term or terms is to set Black people back. But here in America, we don't remove our leaders by assassination. We use the power of the vote.
Wow, what a guy, your dad. He taught you well, huh?
Yeah, I try to. I try to adhere. I try, Stacey. I try. Don't
Oh,
always succeed.
well, hey, you at least you try. Put it that way.
Exactly.
Austin, some really some I guess some good news, some fun news, some better news. Ed Dwight, I should say. The pioneer and African American who came close to becoming America's first Black astronaut 6 decades ago, achieved his long awaited journey into space at the age of 90.
Can you imagine?
This
Can you imagine?
Imagine that. This past Sunday, he and 5 crewmates soared above the Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket. It lifted off from West Texas, and um, it's a 10-minute suborbital flight. Um, but he is the oldest person to reach space, surpassing Star Trek actor William Shatner, who held the record also at age 90. But Dwight's a little bit older than he had more days than
Excuse me.
Shatner at this point. His fellow passengers included venture capitalist Mason Angel, French craft brewery founder Sylvain Charon, entrepreneur Kenneth Hess, aviator Gopai. I'm not going to pronounce this guy's right name, but that Takura. Wow. And retired accountant Carol Schaller. Now, I tell you, these people got money with names like that.
Yeah, yeah. But this was so heartwarming to see. This man who was nominated by President Kennedy to be one of the first Black astronauts. I guess that would have been 1961 or 62. Was denied for no other reason other than good old racism, white folk racism, and never successful fighter pilot, had all of the skills of John Glenn and all of the other white astronauts who went into space, but was denied because of the color of his skin. So, sometimes you say better late than never. I'm glad that this hero, because he's a hero.
Right.
He was one of the first astronauts in the space program. I think that the first Black was it Guy Buford, who went into space in 1982 or 83 with the space shuttle. But I'm glad that he was honored. Even if they were in space for only 10 minutes, he got to realize his lifelong dream.
He said it was a life-changing experience that everyone needs to experience. He says he's ready to go back. He wrote a book, Soaring on the Wings of a Dream: The Untold Story of America's First Black Astronaut Candidate. But he says that all these years, he says, I've been called an astronaut, but now I have a little astronaut pen, which is a totally different matter. I mean, he's ecstatic. He said that line between the atmosphere and space, it was like somebody pulled the curtains down over the windows. And he says, I want to go into orbit. I want to go around the earth and see the whole earth. That's what I want to do now.
It's too bad they no longer do the space shuttles. I don't know if he would have been he looked like he's healthier than me at 61. And I know at 90 I'm pretty certain that I think I would have put a line through that as as a part of my bucket list. But this guy here to do this at 90, I mean, I wish that somehow he could do the space shuttle and circle the earth a few times before coming down. But this was better than nothing, and I'm so glad he was given the opportunity to do so. And someone, I mean, who sponsored him? Because these other folks, as you mentioned, with these names, they had the money to sponsor themselves. So with these rich names. So,
yeah, I believe it was the company itself who sponsored him.
Nice,
if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't that something? Like,
Yeah,
wow.
and I was listening to an interview, and the mind is still sharp. I'm sure as he was listening
Yes.
to through the communication between the ground and the capsule, he was able to keep up with the others on the capsule, and probably, in fact, out of all of them, he was the only trained astronaut, right?
The only trained astronaut.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, the rest of them had just, got
That's
money
what I
to
was gonna say.
blow. And instead of, giving you and me that money, Stacy, they're spending millions to go up in space.
Well, that's one place you'll never catch me under
Yeah.
any circumstances. Space.
Not even with first class.
I'm not even first class. I'm not getting on no spaceship. That's that's for sure. That's all you're doing, Austin.
I
Oh,
think
the seat
seriously, I think
belongs
if
to
given the
you.
chance, I'd be scared to death. But I would love to. To circle the earth.
You do it?
I would do it if I had the chance. I would do it. I would do it.
Wow, look at you. Take Barrington with you.
I would take Barrington with me.
I think Barrington would probably find somebody up there to curse.
Exactly.
He would be cursing them
I
out.
would like, Barrington, stop cursing. You're screwing up we're trying to get back to earth. Stop cursing.
He would,
I mean,
Barrington would be
the
going off
pilots
on
need to listen.
somebody.
The pilots need to listen. I like, we're in space. Who are you arguing with, Barrington?
Barrington, listen, that dude will not let nobody rest if they're out of line.
Exactly. The Barrington rules.
The Barrington rules. So how about this, Austin? Police and authorities, I should say, in St. Louis, Missouri, are investigating a cop who was seen lighting up a cigar while arresting a suspect. The officer was working a secondary job at Marquee Lounge when staff asked that a man be removed, and the situation intensified and it led the officers to make an arrest. And while he was straddling the suspect, he decided to light up a stogie after being handed a lighter by another cop. The department said that it is investigating the incident and what led up to the video and the events that transpired. One of the chief, now they haven't named either the cop nor the suspect, despite their pictures being in full view. But
Here's what
one
we
of the
know: he's black.
investigators, said, the problem is not that he had a cigar. The problem is that he was lighting it at the time of the arrest. So he's got, and it was so funny. If you saw the video, the guy that was being detained, or arrested, I should say, one of his friends standing nearby as he saw the cop asking for a light, he said, "Pull your lighter out, bro." And then he said, "No, no, no, don't pull it out. They might think you got a gun."
Yeah. And this is a brother here. And I'm wondering if he's related to the simple and ignorant sister who was on Frontier. Why do this?
Right. That
I mean, other than being arrogant, show off. Why? What are you going to do? Sprinkle the ashes in the man's face? You that bad you can hold him down with one hand. I don't even think the guy is handcuffed, so he's kneeling on him, and he decided to take out a stogie with one hand and light it up. Just our people.
I mean,
Sometimes our people are just
that's excessive.
no other way to put it.
I
And not
think
that and not that white folk don't do their own
Oh gosh.
ignorance,
Listen, we've
their
got
own ignorance, but it hits
right.
home when you see us doing, this
Knowing
kind
he ain't
of
getting away with it.
this kind of foolishness. Know you're being videotaped. I mean, why would you do this?
Listen,
So now
he
he's going to
knows
be
he ain't getting away with
reprimanded.
that.
I don't know if it's going to go as far as him losing his job. He didn't kill the guy, thank goodness. He didn't, take the lit cigar and put, burn marks on him.
Well, that's the other thing, right? So when you're dealing with folks, and this is a very litigious society, suppose just an ash is if a cigarette ash or cigar ash, if it gets on you, a little bit gets on you, it's probably not going to do any harm. But you can imagine, again, like I said, a very litigious society. hits this guy's arm, the ashes or whatever, and now he's gonna make a big deal out of it. He's gonna make
Yeah.
a huge deal out of it. Oh, I was burnt. Oh, I'm distraught mentally. I can't be around people who smoke anymore because of this. I mean, come on.
Can you imagine cigar ashes, cigarette ashes, much less cigar ashes, getting in your eyes?
That's the other thing.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine cigar ashes while you're lying flat on your back, head to the ground, going into your mouth, going up your nostrils, and you inhaling that?
This
And you
guy
can't. I mean, you can't sit up. I mean, this is just.
he was pandering to that crowd out there. He was trying to show that he was the big man or whatever. You got a badge and a gun. You're the big man. Everybody
Exactly.
concedes that.
Exactly.
They conceded it right away. And yeah, I guess on the lighter side of it, if you will, the lighter side of it is even the suspect found it to be humorous that this guy was lighting up a cigar while he was detaining him. So,
And even when I was reading, careers background email on the topics this evening, when I read that, I just assumed he was white. I assumed he was white. So when Greer just put that up, like, oh no, one of us again. That's why I said, is he related to the ignorant lady
well,
on Spirit?
but that's oh god. But that's are we the only, and I know I've asked this question before. Are we the only race of people who do that? Why the minute something happened, oh, we ain't black. Why you gotta be black? Are we the only ones who do that?
I think that we're at the top of the list in terms of minorities who do that. I don't think white folk do it.
Right.
I don't think white folk. I mean, white folk are like, if he is white, oh well.
Right.
He still has privilege, like we have privilege. Yeah. But I do think I think other minority groups do it, but we're a step above, I think, everybody else in terms of that fear when something bad happened. Lord, let it not be one of us.
Don't let them be black.
Yeah. And again,
bro.
the overall concern is
When
this
they find out.
this feeding into the stereotype of
black, and that's it.
black behavior.
That's it.
That was part of what was so offensive with Will Smith. Fed into the stereotype of
Grizz said she don't do that ever. She don't do that ever. Now I don't know because like she
I do
privileged part on the. You say you do it.
I do it. I'm like, oh God, please don't let it be one of us.
Grizz like whatever. She said, yeah. So what, Puffy Black? So what? He's a monster anyway. Black. Whatever. She said that's them.
Yeah, point taken, Greer. Point taken.
Oh my. But yeah, I mean, even with that, it's like Diddy. It's like and I guess too, because like you said, it's been so much on us, right? And the stereotypes, and then you get somebody, and I know I'm digressing here, but you get somebody like a Diddy, you get somebody like a Bill Cosby, and you see these things come up, these charges or allegations or whatever, and it makes you why, right? Because they black. You questioning like why.
And part of that I think is natural for many of us. It's natural for me because we know that we are going to be held to a higher standard, however unfair that it is.
Punishment's gonna be worse.
Yeah. I had my issues with certainly had some issues with President Obama during his 8 years of the presidency, but I never forget reading Mrs. Obama's book, in which she describes getting on the plane and heading over to Chicago after Trump took over, and just crying most of the way, because she was finally able to let out that tension and that pressure of being held on a pedestal as the first Black family to occupy the White House. They just had no room for error. Now, most of us don't experience life under the microscope like a president or first lady, but you know, uh, it concerns me how we are viewed. And I agree with Greer. That's them. Absolutely, that's them. But still, white folk say that's them toward us, and it's a
Mhm.
blanket. That's them. They're
It
not
is a blanket,
distinguishing.
and that's the problem, right? That's the problem. But when I say why I got to be Black, when it's a Clarence Thomas, when it's a Byron Donalds, when it's a Tim Scott, when it's a Candace, why they got to be Black? Why they doing this as when it's when it's a Stephen A. Smith spouting off the way, or a Charlemagne? What? Why? That's when I do it.
Did you
That
know? I haven't read it, but by the way, there's an article in the. You probably saw it, Stacey and Greer, in Sunday's this past Sunday's New York Times Magazine. There's an article on Charlemagne. I set it aside to read, but just
Mm.
FYI, in case you're interested, or you don't sound like you're interested.
I didn't say
That
anything.
look, exactly. you're like, I don't know why he's telling me this nonsense, because I'm not going to read that. But no.
Move on. Charlemagne. I want to read. I want to take out if the Washington Informer wrote a piece about Charlemagne, an insightful piece, then I'd pick it up. Okay. If that happens, let me know.
Okay. I think if that happens, you would write it, but okay.
Over 3 years ago, or about 3 years ago, Sinbad appeared with us on our program, and shortly thereafter had a massive stroke and was not to be heard from again until now. He's made some couple of heartwarming appearances. He's made. He talked about uh, recovering and thinking about jokes that he's made over the 14 over 14 years ago, I should say. During an appearance at the Netflix is a joke comedy festival. He warned about the power of words and how they can manifest into reality. And the part of the joke that he believes plagued him years later, Sinbad says, "You want a woman to understand the signs of stroke. That's what I'm looking for. A woman that got my medication in her purse." He said he was he was joined by his family and friends, and I mean, so much an outpouring of
Love
love.
for him. Good for
People
him.
like
Good for him.
D.L. Hughley, Mike Epps, uh, what's her name, Tiffany Haddish,
That is
and others. He says it is a miracle for me to come out tonight, even to be walking with the staff. He was walking with that stick there. He says, I feel good that I can do that because the left side of my body was affected by the stroke. My left hand, my left leg just quit, he said. He then issued a warning to audience members about the power of the tongue. He says, be careful what you talk about. Remember, I did my joke about having a stroke? Be careful what you talk about because you're bringing it
yeah,
into fruition, he
yeah,
says.
yeah. But that's how old is he, Stacey?
That's a good question. How old is Sinbad? I'm not sure, but he did say this, Austin, as a warning to people like you. All you men out there, 55 years old, trying to date some girl like 20, like she like you.
Don't do
He
it.
says, "Are you out of your mind?" He says, "She wants your house."
That's right. That's right.
He said, "I
Yeah.
don't see no 20-year-old girls with a broke down 55 year old man with no money. You don't see no girl 20 saying, 'Look at that homeless dude, but he's cute.'" he said, she wants you to die. And if you
Exactly.
keep messing with
Exactly.
her, you will.
You will die. You will die. No, this was it was so good to see him. However, it was quite sad to see him in this condition. Was this his first public appearance in 3 years?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean,
he,
it was incredible to see him come out there. Actually, it's his second because he did something earlier. Well, he made a public appearance, not on the stage, but he was photographed out with I don't know where they were, maybe in a backyard or something. So I guess that's not necessarily public, but with some other comedians that had come to visit with him, and but this was the first time he had spoke, yes, publicly, and we know that there's been some social media postings that he's either posted or someone's posted on his behalf, but yeah, he's one of the good guys, apparently.
Yeah,
Everyone feels like he's one of the good guys, and I know I've always enjoyed his stand-up
absolutely,
act.
absolutely. He's good. He was good. So, Stacy, who is the black comedian I watched over the weekend off and on the Tom Brady roast? Who is the black comedian who suffered a stroke but spoke? Because he said that Chris Rock and the other who were backstage referring to him as Strokely Carmichael. I mean, no, Strokely, no,
What?
Strokely Robinson.
Oh my gosh, who is? I'm not sure.
Okay, I kind of recognized him, and it took him a while to come out on stage, and then no, not Chris Rock.
Oh,
Kevin Hart was the host of
okay.
the show, and as he was walking off, Kevin said, "We're going to speed up your exit." In the final taping because we're under a timer. but he took it in good humor. He said backstage they were referring to him as Strokely Robinson something.
Wow. Keith Robinson?
Might have been him.
Might have been Keith Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's the he's the one who suffered a stroke. I believe it was maybe last year after taking too many Viagra's or something. I think it was.
I don't mean to laugh.
It's the truth.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
He took too many Viagra's and he stroked out.
Jesus. I was telling someone a story the other day. I have my former primary physician about 15 years ago, Stacy, up in New York. His office was right across from Madison Square, and I would go to him for my physicals. He was originally from Liberia. And once I was getting a physical, and he had to step out to take a call, and he came back shaking his head. And I'm like, "What's the matter, doc? You saw something on my chart?" And he said, "No, you're fine." But he said, his patients, male patients in particular, never cease to amaze him. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said the gentleman that he stepped out for was calling because he was concerned that Dr. Jones had not called in refills for his Viagra pills. And he said, and I told him the reason you got your priorities mixed up, because I find it interesting that you're not calling me for your heart medication, but you're calling me for your pills. So
wrong pills, dude.
wrong pills.
That's terrible. Oh gosh. I tell you. Well, the things that you hear from folks nowadays, nothing surprises anymore, Austin.
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Well, Austin, we appreciate you as always.
It's always a pleasure to see you, brother. Like I said, I love to start my day with you and the show and your viewers, and got a long day ahead of me. So I appreciate you, brother.
You always got a long day ahead of you.
Yeah, hustling, trying to make a living, brother.
Every day you're hustling. That's it, right?
That's it.
Austin, tell the folks they need to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Folks, subscribe to the Let It Be Known new YouTube page. Now, do it. Thank you for watching.
You heard it from the man himself. Thanks a lot, Austin. We'll see you tomorrow.
Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you.